Hey everyone, how's it going? Five Finger Shuffle. We are back here with another video. Today I want to show you my very first raid clear. I've never beaten the queen before this. As you can see, I've just got it autoing up to the boss here. I When I cleared the last boss, I came back and I cleared the beginning of this just to make it easier for me to run this over and over in case we failed again, which we did. I'm gonna let you guys see sort of up until where I autoed it to. So I make a left turn at the fork here. You can see up in the top left-hand corner. I make this left going toward the mini boss. I feel like this mini boss here is the easier of the two. So I had already beat this mini boss, which means that all the rest of my fights are relatively easy. So now we head up toward the queen, and there's a couple fights just of trash mobs before we get to the queen. So while these are happening, I'm just going to show you guys my account really quick because this is just a recording of what happened on stream tonight. I would play the volume for you instead of talking over it, but there was some music and stuff and probably some cursing as well, so probably shouldn't be on YouTube. So while this is playing, let's just cut over really quick. And this is my account. So you can see right in the middle here, it tells you how many days I've logged in. Oh no, wait, that's friendship level 3. Oh, there it is. Total logins, 38 out of 40. Um, just to show you that that's accurate, we'll come over to the check-in rewards, and you can see we've logged in 10 days, and then if you take the previous month, which would be 28 days, that's 38 total. So 38 days total. This is basically the rundown of my 6 stars. I have 10 6 stars already. If you've been following the channel, you saw I actually let Twitch vote as to who I should 6 star next, and they voted for Guider Aether. And if you noticed in the video, or the start of the video, she's actually in the team we're running. So keep an eye out for her. We're going to come back here and we're going to take a look at all the gear of all the units we used. But in the meantime, let's get back to the raid. So these trash mobs are all relatively easy at this point. I'm not overly worried. I've got it on auto. I'm still venting because I've already done a couple runs before this. We've been trying it all week, trying to find a way to get through it. Now that I have my Guider Aether 6 starred, I was like, okay, let's see if we can find a way to make this work. I tried this same comp with Clury, Angelica, Guider Aether, and Haste. I also tried it with the 4th champion being Kareen. Then I tried it with the 4th champ being Belena. Belena, unfortunately, is not 6 starred, so she has next to no gear. Actually, while we're doing another trash wave, I can actually show you that. Let's switch back for a second. So here's my Belena. We literally tried it with this. She has one piece of gear that's plus 9. So obviously it didn't work. Her artifact is also plus 9, but I mean, with only 126 speed, 6,000 health, and 1100 attack, she didn't last very long. So she died. I had a feeling it was going to lose. I was just tilted and trying to find some way to get around it. I think long term, she's going to be amazing. Um, how are we doing here? Tons of time. All right, let me switch back one more time. This piece of gear here, I just got in the shop yesterday. I'm super hyped about it. I wish I had some upgrade stones to be able to upgrade this because I would love to see how this is going to roll. I really hope we get either attack percent or speed in that 4th substat, but we got really lucky to be able to find this in the shop. But anyway, she's not geared up, so she's not ready to go, which is why we had to improvise. And as you can see here, we brought Euphine in. So I love Euphine. I think she's one of the top champions in the game. If you saw yesterday's video, you saw that I actually put her well into my top 5 nature champions video. Um, or sorry, Earth champions. I think she's so good. She's got 2 strips. She's got an AoE silence. She's got a stun. She's got a defense break. She hits really hard. Also, you put her on, because she's a warrior, you can put her on lifesteal and give her um, a lifesteal artifact. I forget the name of the artifact I have on her. Sigurd Scythe. So I believe it's only plus 15 at the moment, but it's when the caster's health is less than 50%, increases attack by 25%, and absorbs 37.5% of the damage dealt as health. So because she does big damage and her attack increases, basically she can heal herself to full if she's down under 25%. So we'll take a look at her gear after. We're coming into the last trash wave here. And the reason I was going to cut this out and just show you guys the boss stage, but the reason this is important is one, I want you guys to see where the last trash wave is when you guys get here, because if you think there's uh, if you think there's one more trash wave, you may just auto through this, and then you won't have your skills ready. And you definitely need your skills ready when you get to the boss. So the the two Bs, there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to kill them. They don't hit very hard. There's really nothing you have to be worried about in terms of dying. The only thing you do have to know is the cocoon at the bottom there is if you don't kill it before it hatches, two more bees will come out. So if you kill it first before it hatches, then see, so it explodes and we get two bees coming out of it. So now we have three more to kill, which is a little unfortunate. I probably should have targeted that first, but it doesn't really matter as long as you have your skills prepared for when you kill all three. So when I get down to one bee remaining, I start first skilling down. That way my immunity is ready and all my ultimates are ready when I get to the boss. Say, for example, with this particular team, if I decide to try and heal with Angelica's immunity right before I get to the boss, and then I get there and I don't have it, then he can debuff me, and it can pretty much be GG before we even get started. So we're getting down to the last two before jumping into the boss. And I'm going to try, I left some things in so that you guys can kind of see the mechanics of the boss as well. It's going to go by relatively quick, so if you didn't catch it all the first time, you may want to jump back and watch it again, because there's some things that happen in the beginning that kind of explain the mechanics a little bit. There's going to be 4 champions that show up on the boss. For those of you that already know this, you don't have to worry about it, but the actual finish clear is actually kind of exciting, so you may want to watch all the way through, but you don't have to listen to my rambling at the beginning here. So now we're just first skilling, making sure we kill this guy, and making sure that we don't take too much damage. Luckily, he hits Clury, who she can self-sustain, so I'm not too worried about it. We don't have to heal. And the last bee is dead, which means we're back on the boss. So if you look at the little map in the top left-hand corner, it looks like there could be one more fight, but I promise you there isn't. We come right up here, we have to make this left, but there is no boss here. So here we're at plus 30 if you look at our morale. And so we're going to camp. The reason being that the difference between plus 29, which is what we would have been if we don't camp, and plus 30 is an extra 5% HP. And that extra 5% HP could end up making a difference. You'll have to watch the rest of the video to find out. So we do our camp. We're not too worried about what the total is here. There may be a more optimal camp. I honestly don't know. I've never used this team together, but we only needed one more morale, so I didn't bother doing the camp simulator for it because we only needed one. All right, so we jump into the boss. First thing you see is 4 cocoons. The 2 on the left are going to hatch first. The 2 on the right are going to hatch later, but they've all got invulnerability. The trick is when they hatch, they do a bunch of debuffs. So you really want to have, if you can, immunity up. So right here, I put up Angelica's immunity because these guys are going to come out and they're going to do, because they don't come out until you hit the boss. So now we hit the queen and it's going to hatch the 2 eggs on the left. So we hit the queen goes. This skill hatches her 2 eggs on the left. So they pop open. If we didn't have immunity, we would probably have gotten AoE slowed right now and we would basically be dead. So no immunity in that spot is an easy way to die. So now what we want to do is start killing these spiders on the left. We still can't touch the eggs. We can't strip them even if we wanted to. Um, but we can take down these spiders, and every piece of damage we do to the spiders is going to knock down the health of the boss. If you watch the boss's health here, we're going to use our ultimate from Guider Aether into this spider, and you can see the boss's HP going down a little bit. That's because all the damage that the spiders take will do damage to the queen as well, and we don't have to hit the queen. Hitting the queen will give her a chance to revenge us, so we want to hit the spiders down as much as we can and use that to chunk down damage. The tricky part is that these spiders do stun, as you can see there. They stun Clury. The queen also, you have to be very careful because the queen, when she goes, she can strip and reset your cooldowns. So if you have Angelica in the front, she goes like this. You see there, she just stripped Angelica, reset Angelica's cooldowns, which means now Angelica cannot heal or do immunity, which basically means you're screwed. So if you were watching the original part of this video, this is probably where the swearing came into play because this had happened to me a few times already. I was getting super frustrated at this point because that part in particular is just, it's bad RNG. There's nothing you can do. If you have DN, you might be able to get through it without that, but otherwise you just got to basically stop and start again because if you watch what happens now, he resets her again. And it's a continuous loop. Once he started attacking her, he's probably not going to stop. So she gets reset for the second time. Now we had 4-turn immunity because we burnt into her 4th skill. And watch what happens when her turn comes around. I think she's up next after the spider. So spider goes. Nobody has immunity anymore. We're now slowed as well. Queen goes. It's finally, oh no, next turn. It's finally Angelica's turn after this. She's still got 3 turns left on her immunity. You can see my mouse going crazy there. That's me freaking out. I'm so mad at this point. Because we literally had 4-turn immunity up on everybody, and now we're slowed and still 3 turns away from doing immunity. So I was a little upset here. I mean, at this point, I already know we're dead. There's nothing I can do about it because I'm 3 turns away from being able to put it up again. I can't heal. I can't put up immunity. I can't do anything. I can't do damage because we're all slowed. The boss is taking multiple turns, and I'm just literally yelling at the screen right now. And of course, Twitch chat is being hilarious and trying to troll me. If you were if you were in Twitch chat tonight, thank you so much for the continuous trolls because it was as funny as it was. I was not having any of it. That being said, I'm glad everybody was there because they did help me through it in the end. So as you can see, like we're slowly getting worn down here. We still have no heals. You can see the little like mouse cursor hovering over the fact I have no skills. Aether wakes up for half a second, gets stunned again. The boss goes twice again. The other mechanic with the boss is when your health goes under 50%, the boss goes twice. So if she knocks you under the 50% mark, she automatically gets another turn. So once you get down to this point, if you're already under 50%, she's going to go twice every time, and she's going to do twice as much damage, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. You can see Angelica's only had 1 turn since immunity was up, which is ridiculous. Like, the fact that she only took 1 turn that entire time is crazy to me, but it's just the way it goes sometimes with the RNG. You got to get lucky. Now, obviously, oh, we got an ad. Obviously, if, why is it not letting me skip the ad? Hold on. There. So obviously, there we go. If, I don't even know what I was saying. Oh well. We're leaving that in. She's dead. So I'm freaking out at this point. I was like, all right, fine. We'll try again. We get that free retry. We try again with the same team. Luckily, we don't have to go through all the stuff again. We've already camped. We've already got all our souls because we didn't use them at the end. If you think you're gonna lose, make sure you don't go burning all your Archies at the end, because if, as you can see here, I didn't use mine and I still have all my souls. If you use your Archie at the end, you're screwed because you won't have those souls when you restart, and then you probably won't be able to make it through. So his first turn, he doesn't reset Angelica, which is nice. He goes after Clury. So we just hit the trash waves because we don't want to hit the boss yet, because we don't want him to hatch those eggs. We come into our immunity. So we hit the burn button. So that's 4-turn immunity we've got. So she's just going to poke the boss. The boss hatches the eggs. We've got immunity, so we don't suffer the slows here, which is nice. Eggs hatch, we're still safe. And basically we're back where we were to start the last match. So first things first, we're just going to start going after these spiders, try and wear them down again. You really don't want to go after the boss because you don't want to give the boss a chance to start revenging you. So Clury comes in with the defense break, and we can slowly go to town and start working down the boss. You also don't want to go too crazy with Archie at the beginning because you want to have enough souls that you can use him near the end when you're in trouble, because the boss starts to hit harder and harder as time goes on. So the longer you take to kill her, the harder she's going to hit, which makes this quite difficult. It's kind of a time-based thing, more of like a DPS check when it comes down to it. So here we decide to use our silence because the AoE is going to hit 2 of those spiders, which is going to do a little bit more damage to the boss, and it increases her speed and attack as well, which means hopefully long term we can do more damage as well. So here comes her skill again. Thankfully she attacks Clury. If she goes after Angelica and resets those cooldowns, we're pretty much screwed again, as that's what happened last run. So we get some decent damage here from Euphine, and she lands the stun, which is nice. It's one less thing to worry about. We're still at full health, so we can poke. I was trying to be sneaky here with Aether, as she has like a 25% chance to slow. So I was hoping I would get lucky. She has like 0 effectiveness, but I was hoping I would get lucky and she would slow the boss. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. So I think I tried actually a couple times. I think I tried again here, or maybe I used the shield here. Hopefully I used the shield here. Nope. I tried to slow and it failed. I probably should have used the shield because she was losing the shield that she had, and you can see she got attacked here, so it would have mitigated that damage if we would have used her second skill. And yes, I know she's a he, but as I've said many times, mine is a she. There's nothing you can do about it. She's forever going to be a she. Um, so I don't want to hear it in the comment section. I'm sure we will anyway, but I don't want to hear it. All right, so Euphine, back at it. Trying to defense break, doesn't work. You can see I'm really thinking here, what should I be doing? And I tried the slow again, still didn't work. The joys of having no effectiveness, but she's kind of stat hungry. You want her to be relatively fast. You want her to hit hard. You want her to have crit rate, crit damage, attack, HP if you can. Effectiveness is like the last thing because that's the only skill that really matters in terms of effectiveness is the first skill, and it's such a low chance. It's not really worth basing your gear around that unless you just happen to get it by accident. So we really grind down the ads here, and this part takes quite a while, as you can see. It's a bit of a grind, which is part of what makes this really frustrating, is because it is such a grind to get to this point, and then if you lose and you have to start all the way back at the beginning, it can be really frustrating. Um, So every move has to be really calculated at this point, and just beware, you're most likely not going to kill it the first time you try it. So good luck. So this is a little scary. This is where when these spiders ultimate, they have an AoE slow. So you really want to have immunity up here. Luckily, 3 of our characters had immunity. Now that last turn, I don't know if you caught that, but the queen actually reset Angelica there, which is like, I think I'm venting at this point. I'm like, okay, we're dead. We lost again. I was ready to just give up. I'm glad I didn't, but I was like, okay, well, I'm pretty sure the Guider Aether has her heal, which keeps us alive. So you can see she had immunity up, and now she's stripped, and her cooldowns are set back. So she had 2 more turns before she can use her immunity. Now we used Guider Aether's third skill, which has a heal. So it tops us back up again, because the last thing we want to do is drop below 50%, right? We want to do everything we can to stay above 50% until Angelica hopefully gets her turn back. Luckily here, the queen does not attack Angelica, which means she doesn't get her cooldowns reset again. And luckily, that didn't land any slows. So we got a little lucky there with the RNG. Guider Aether is dangerously low in HP, but Angelica's skill 2 heal is ready. So Euphine isn't sure what to do right now. There is a defense break, so I'm assuming she uses her second skill. Yep. So we try and silence in the hopes of silencing that first spider to stop it from doing its ultimate before we get immunity up. It didn't work. Luckily, the boss went into Clury, and the spider only landed the 1 immunity, or not immunity, the 1 slow, and it was on Guider Aether again. But now she's crazy low. Like, if the boss goes, we're dead. Luckily, Angelica's got her heal, heals Aether back up to full, and now we just need to survive 1 more turn from the queen. If we can survive the queen from resetting Angelica's skills, then she can put her immunity back up again, and we're fine. Obviously, once you have better gear, you can just quickly kill these spiders, and it won't be that bad. But that's more like late game-ish, and we're not there yet. So luckily the queen reset Aether. She didn't go after Angelica, which means we're going to get our heal off here. And fortunately, that attack didn't bring us under half health as well, because that would have let the boss go again, which can cause even more problems. But now we're back up to full health. We've got 4-turn immunity, 4-turn shield. Spider goes and uses the AoE slow, but our immunity protects us. The other spider has AoE slow next turn. I think we try and kill the spider here before it can use it anyway. I don't remember. Maybe we don't kill it in time. I honestly can't remember what happened. I know it's close. So here's the reset. It resets Euphine, which is interesting. It's the first time the boss has gone for Euphine. Luckily, we're not too worried about her kit right now. So I'm kind of torn as to what to do. I'm like, should we try and provoke or should we defense strike the other one? I was like, you know what? This one's almost dead, so let's provoke the second spider and then we can kill the first one. So I was trying to watch the attack bars on the left. I knew I had time. So Angelica, here we're like, oh crap. Is it dead? No. So unfortunately the spider goes. We messed that up a little bit. I messed up the views on the attack bars thinking we had time to kill it, and we didn't. So we got 2 slows on us, which could have been a crucial mistake, but there was nice. We got some extra damage from Euphine as Euphine teamed up with Aether. And then Clury came in and got the kill. So we got 1 spider down. This makes things significantly easier from here until the halfway point of the boss. At the halfway point of the boss, things get tricky because that's where the other 2 eggs come into play. So there's a couple strategies and a couple ways to beat the boss. that I've seen anyway. One is to leave both of these spiders alive, get the boss down to 50%, and then just go crazy with Archie and use 3 Archies and kill the boss, because Archie's damage on the spiders as well as the boss multiplies and can kill the boss if you do it right. But also, you have to be careful because that could end up being enough to kill you, and if you don't get the job done, then you now have 5 characters attacking you instead of 2. So uh, personally, I tried that route many times and it just didn't work for me. I didn't have the damage to be able to get the job done fast enough, so I had to try it this way, where we're killing 1 spider at a time. I even tried leaving 1 alive and then arcing, but without the second spider alive, it doesn't do enough damage. You need both alive in order for that strategy to work. Alright, so coming in here, Euphine does her ultimate. We get the stun, which is nice because she was going to do her ultimate, and I was a little worried that maybe the turn order we would miss it, but we were fine. So we land the defense break, I think. Yep. Queen goes, resets Aether, which is fine. As long as it's not Angelica, we're not overly worried at this point. Even if it was Angelica, because one of the spiders are dead, we're not in panic mode. We're kind of just waiting until we hit the midway mark. And then as we get closer to that halfway mark, we have to be really careful. One, we're trying to build up our souls again. As you can see, we only have 6 of the 8 souls, and we really need all 8, or 80, I guess. So that was a little painful, but we put up shield here with Aether. And then we're like, well, should we heal? I ended up healing because she has immunity next turn, and I figured if she gets reset, then at least we got the heal off, and if she doesn't get reset, then we have immunity next turn anyway. So it was kind of a win-win in terms of the choice to heal. So now the second spider's dead. What we want to do is do enough damage to get the boss close to 50%, and then put up immunity again. So you don't want to arc yet, don't want to go crazy, don't want to do too much damage with like ultimates or anything. If anything, you want to try and first skill the boss down because the boss is the only one hitting you right now. You don't have to worry about the AoE slows, you don't have to worry about anything except for getting ready for those eggs to pop. So we use our ultimate here because I knew we still had quite a while. Like it takes a long time to chunk the boss down just by hitting the boss because the boss has that defense buff. So I figured we would just chunk it down and hopefully we'll be back around in our skills by the time we need to. Here I'm not sure what to do. I'm like, should we do immunity now? Should we wait? Are we going to be able to get the boss down to 50% if we burn immunity? I decide not to put immunity up to try and get the boss closer to 50% first. I honestly wasn't sure. I was torn as to whether I should put it up then and try and go for it or not. But I was like, you know what? Worst case scenario, we'll get the boss close, and then we can always hit those eggs because they have invulnerability. So if we're close and we don't want to get her below 50% yet, we can hit them first. So boss goes, thankfully again, hit Aether first. We're not worried again about this going under 50%, so she's fine, and now we can burn into immunity. This will give us 4-turn immunity, and no matter what happens when those eggs pop, we're not going to get hit by their debuffs. So here we go. We want to get her below 50% as soon as possible. So we land that defense break, which is great. We just tap the boss, and then this hit here should put the boss under 50%. And then she'll steal a turn, and that's the same skill that hatches the eggs. So now the 2 bees pop out, and they can do okay damage. So you do have to be careful. They don't have the same ultimate that's like as crazy as the spiders, but you still have to be really careful with them. And remember, at this point, the boss is doing more damage every turn. So at this point, I've already sort of decided. I told chat too. I was like, "Hey, listen, we're just gonna try and kill these guys. We haven't. So now we can start using Archie because we want to kill these bees as fast as possible. And doing damage to them is also doing extra damage to the boss. So you can see that chunked down the boss about 25% of her remaining health from 50%. So she went from 50% down to about 37 and a half-ish, 35. We're trying to time it on skills that aren't going to do any damage. So our big damage skills or our heals, we're not trying to use Archie then. We're trying to basically use it when either we have to first skill from, like right here is Clury's first skill. So it's like no point in using her first skill. It's not going to do much damage. Let's Archie. So there's the Archie again, and you'll see probably about another 10 to 15% damage. Decent damage again. Now we're down to about 25%. And the bees have taken quite a bit of damage now as well, and we're still max health. So I'm like, all right, I'm feeling good right now, right? You're like, yeah, it's working. So now, all of a sudden, tilt mode is over, and I'm like, blinders on, I'm focused, right? It's funny because I was like totally venting at the beginning of this run, and now I'm sure if I watched the replay of it um, with sound, it would be pretty ridiculous. And I just suddenly go quiet and start focusing. You see every move now is like super calculated. I'm sure I'm talking about it with chat as well. So I think we get the kill here. Yeah, we get the first B down, which is nice. Now I'm like, I think I'm legit thinking we've got this now at this point. I'm like, okay, we have nothing to worry about. But then check the damage out on this skill. This is right here. I'm like, oh shit. Like that was a lot of damage. The boss's damage is starting to add up really fast, and we need to heal. That did basically half health to our Clury, and our Clury's pretty tanky. So obviously we heal here. No choice. We desperately need to get that immunity up because if the boss goes and resets before we get our immunity off, again we're dead, right? Like that's my biggest worry at this point is can we get that immunity off? So boss does the skill, and of course, one turn cooldown on our healer. So we still don't have the heal. Now I'm like, oh my god, really? Like I thought we had this. This is ridiculous. I'm screwed now. I can't heal. I was like, we have Aether. Should we use her heal here? Or should we save it? And I'm not sure. I'm like, because people are telling me to burn into it. They're like, burn now, because that'll heal for more. I was like, yeah, but if we burn, we won't have the souls, because we're going to want to use the souls later to Archie. Because, like, we're at 12 souls right now. We need 12 more souls to Archie. You can see I'm looking at the skill. I'm like, yes, it'll do more damage if we burn, but is that damage worth not being able to Archie? They're like, yeah, but you'll heal more. I was like, I know, but if we can't Archie, we're not going to do enough damage ever to kill the boss. So I decide not to do it. I held out, said I'm not burning this one. We get a decent heal, so I think the heal here was fine. Like we didn't lose anything by not burning. We get a nice team up there with Angelica. Now we're a little worried because we have no immunity and we need this bee to die. Desperately need this bee to die. If this bee doesn't die here, we're kind of screwed. I'm looking at the skills. I'm like, does she have her heal? Because Angelica's up next. She does not have her heal because she's been reset. Like, what are we going to do? Do we provoke the bee? And hopefully the bee doesn't do the AoE on us? Or do we try and strip the attack buff and the defense buff and the crit buff from the boss? So I know I'm using the provoke. I just wasn't sure who to use it on at this point. I was honestly torn. I wanted to do it on the bee. They convinced me to do it on the boss. And of course we get an ad. And these ads are clutch. So we do it on the boss. We land the strip and the defense break. You can't strip that attack buff, apparently. So she gets another turn and procs into that, and now it's Angelica's turn, and I'm like, okay, we really desperately need Angelica to kill here. If Angelica can kill, the bee doesn't use the ultimate, and I think we're safe. This is my little moment of prayer in the hopes that we can get this kill. We got really lucky with the last turn. Clury got an extra turn and took down a chunk of that damage. So now we're just praying. I'm like, I don't know if we can do enough. It doesn't look like we can do enough. Let's just hope we land the 10% chance to stun. The tension is building. There we go. Luckily, Clury teams up with her for the kill. I don't think we would have got the kill otherwise, but we get it there, and now we're down to just the boss. But the boss does big damage there. You can see Aether's almost dead. Both Angelica and Euphine are at half health. I'm in full out panic mode now. I'm like, oh crap, like we've killed everybody and we only have 25% left, but like what are we going to do? How are we going to survive this? So we have no choice here. I don't even know what I'm looking at, to be honest with you, because we have no choice but to first skill. He doesn't do a defense break, and she does have lifesteal gear, so it does give her a little bit of a heal. Then Euphine, or sorry, not Euphine, Guider Aether goes. She can put up her shield, which protects her a little bit. Clury only has her first skill, and we happen to have enough souls now because we didn't burn into the Aether heal that we can Archie. So here's the Archie. We get the boss down. We're down to about 9% health now. And Angelica has the heal. So obviously we heal with immunity. I'm pretty psyched at this point. I'm like, all right, we got this. There's nothing they can do. This comes down. I'm like, nice, we're good. That did next to no damage. We should be fine. We land the strip. Everything's going beautifully. Aether has to first skill. Doesn't land the slow, but even then we're fine. And then all of a sudden this skill comes. And oh my god, the damage. I'm like, okay, we're not out of the woods yet. This is going to be close. So we're down to about 5% health now. We've got another heal. We get a chance to heal, which is nice. Now, we've only got a first skill here. There's nothing we can do. We're not close in terms of souls. Everybody in chat's like, if you don't kill here, she's going to wipe you next turn. Not this turn, but like next turn she uses her big skill. So this comes down, and we're scraping the bottom of the barrel now. Now, there's no way we're going to get off another Archie. We do have enough souls to be able to use this, her ultimate, and be able to burn into her ultimate, which not only will do more damage to the boss, but also heal us more. So this one, we don't really have a choice on it. I'm looking at cooldowns, trying to see, because I was debating saving it. I was like, maybe we should save it and burn on Euphine, because then Euphine, when you burn on her third skill, it gives her a second turn. So I was like, well, we can get one turn here with bigger damage, or we can get two turns with Euphine. I wasn't really sure what to do. Spoiler, I end up burning on her. There was a little bit of banter here back and forth in chat. It'd be interesting to see if I could pause it here and play it again, doing it the other way, if we still end up completing it. Because it was damn close. I can almost feel the tension watching this again. This is like hard to watch. We're definitely talking with people being like, yeah, but if we don't burn, then we get two turns with Euphine. Euphine's gonna hit harder, most likely with two turns, than the extra boost into the one turn. I was like, but this does heal us and gives us continuous healing, which is gonna help all the way around. So we decide to burn. Brings her down about halfway. We're down to about 2.5% left now. Angelica has to first skill. We have no choice. We get no team up. Now Euphine goes. Euphine can now use her third skill, and she has a strip, remember, so she can strip that defense buff and the crit rate buff. Brings us down 1% remaining. Thankfully, it's our turn. Clury's turn, one turn before the boss. This has to kill. If we don't kill here, we're dead, because the boss is going next, and the boss is going to one-shot us. We have no shields, no immunity, no nothing. We're not getting another turn if this doesn't kill. Thankfully, Angelica teams up, and we get the kill. Absolutely beautiful. I'm pretty hyped right here. I don't think I showed it on stream, but I was so relieved that we finally get the kill. So that's our first raid boss kill. We still had 42, uh, what do you call it? 42 morale left. So we ran around for a bit and collected some more rewards. As you can see here, I'm just looking at the map and I was like, okay, we'll come out and down and collect whatever we can, and then we'll exit. We didn't get very far. I didn't have the patience to manual anything at this point, so I just went back and we ended up quitting. We got our hard entry. Here, let's get out of here. We got our hard entry, so we can try out raid hard next stream, which will be tomorrow. The other thing we got actually was a second ML bookmark. So you can see in the top here, we have 2 ML bookmarks. That's from 2 of our most recent raid runs. We got an ML bookmark from each one. So let's jump into the gear really fast, just of the team that we're using, and then we'll wrap things up here. So here's my Euphine gear. All of our gear isn't maxed yet. I've been trying to get it maxed. Here is the Sigurd Scythe artifact. It's plus 15. I haven't limit broken it yet. I don't think I have any dupes of it. It would be nice to get it limit broken. I don't know what the max is, but that would be, if it can get any higher, that would be crazy. Unfortunately, she only has 73% crit rate, but I wanted her to have high effectiveness, so she's at 48% effectiveness, um, with almost 10,000 HP and almost 2,700 attack. We need to max this necklace to get her crit rate a little higher, but otherwise, I'm pretty happy with her. I obviously need to max these boots. They didn't roll very well. It all went into resistance, unfortunately, but still not a bad piece. Overall, I'm relatively happy with her. She could afford to be a little faster. 132 speed isn't fast enough, but it did get the job done, so I'm happy with that. Up next, Guider Aether. Like I said, she's new. I've got her on Etika's Scepter. 33% chance to decrease skill cooldown by an additional turn at the beginning of the turn. So this basically gives her more access to her ultimate. She's up to 99% crit rate with 154 crit damage, 2,500 attack, and 141 speed, and only 7,700 health. I wish she had a little more HP. We do need to max these pieces on the left. The only one I think I'm going to max, though, is the Santa hat. The other 2 I want to replace. The reason she doesn't have as much attack as she could is because we have speed boots on her. It had a 19% attack substat and a 7% crit rate with HP percent and defense percent. And the attack piece I had no substats on it. So I was like, you know what? We're going to lose a little attack, but all in all, this is going to make her tankier and has enough crit rate and attack to still help her hit hard. So I'm perfectly fine with this piece of gear. It's a beautiful piece. Maybe not ideal for her because I would prefer attack on her, but I'll take it. Next up is my Angelica. My Angelica, I recently changed some gear around. So her necklace and her ring are maxed, but her boots are not. They're only plus 9. I need to get this maxed as soon as possible, but this is not a good piece for her. I need to swap it out. I just didn't have. I've been busy maxing other sets of boots, so I didn't have the stones needed to upgrade another one starting from 0 all the way up. So I'm just leaving this one on there until I can get around to maxing that one. The other ones are plus 9, nothing crazy, just HP percent on both, up to 13k HP and 1,000 defense. Because she has speed boots, she does have 134 speed Once that's maxed, we'll get her up around 150, which I'm happy with, especially considering how slow she is. And finally, my Clury. The only thing that isn't maxed on her is the ring and these two pieces on the left, but I'm not too worried about them. This piece is kind of nice actually, so we will max this one. Speed, defense, effectiveness. This one, speed, health, and effectiveness went well, but the crit damage roll was a little unfortunate. This one rolled really well. 6 speed, 24 defense, 11 health. But once we get this maxed out, that'll give us a little more tankiness. She's already got 12k HP, but she could use a little more. Um, she is at 191 speed. I would like to get her up over 200, but for now, that will have to do. So, whew, I'm out of breath. That was a longer video than I thought it was going to be, but I hope it gave you guys some insight as to how you guys can clear raid yourselves. I hope you enjoyed suffering along with me in that. It was incredibly painful, and really all we got from our first clear was the 1 ml bookmark. But what are you going to do? I'm just happy to clear it. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, I guess you can double hit the dislike button. And don't forget to comment down below with your raid teams and if you ever have any questions or comments. And subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you all next time. Have a great night. Bye, guys.